Hey everybody, it's your girl Mia, and as always, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm coming to you guys today with a really awesome recipe. It's cold outside, the leaves are changing, and it's my favorite time of the year. And I was in the mood for something that was kind of hearty, substantial, you know, good comfort food, stick to your ribs, but had a little bit of kick to it. So I thought about it, and that only means one thing: red beans and rice. Let go. Alright, so let's get started. I've got my large soup pot and I've got a couple tablespoons of canola oil in the pan, and we're going to drop in our trinity. That's going to be 1 medium green bell pepper, 1 medium onion, and 3 stalks of celery. We're going to get this over in the pan so we can sweat it down and let it get nice and soft. And my pan was a little bit hot earlier, but it's cooling off, and as soon as these cool vegetables hit it, it's going to be the temperature where I need it to be. Again, what I'm doing is sweating the vegetables. I want them to get soft and translucent. I do not want them to brown. Bring that heat down. You should be sitting at about medium heat, guys, but my heat was just a little too high. That's why this pot sounds as angry as it does. I'm just going to give these a good stir. I want to keep my vegetables moving. Again, we're sweating. We're not sauteing. If your pot still sounds angry after a couple minutes, or you're starting to notice that your vegetables are getting brown around the edges, you want to bring that heat down. Maybe take the pan off of the burner for a sec. Let that pan calm down. Then get it back on the burner. But you don't want your vegetables to brown. We want them to get nice and soft. So all told, this is going to take about 10 minutes. So once my vegetables are nice, soft, and translucent, we'll go ahead and move on to the next step. Alrighty guys, 10 minutes has passed in YouTube land, so we're going to go ahead and move on to our sauteed and softened trinity. We're going to add 6 ounces of diced ham. Yes. We're also going to add 1 pound of smoked sausage. This is a beef smoked sausage that I have today, but turkey, smoked sausage, Polish, or andouille will work fabulous in this dish. So I'm going to get these down over in here, and we're going to get these incorporated, get to knowing each other. Just a heads up, guys, if you wanted to, you know, put this smoked sausage and diced ham, if you want to throw that in a pot and get a little brownage on there before it goes in with these vegetables, you can do that. You don't have to, but it does add a little extra flavor if that's something that you're in the mood for. Also puts a nice little brownage on the meat. Okay guys, now that we've got our trinity and our smoked sausage and ham all nice and married together, we're going to go ahead and incorporate our seasonings. I have 3 bay leaves, 2 teaspoons of parsley, 2 teaspoons of dried thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flake, 1 teaspoon ground black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of my favorite Cajun seasoning. So we're going to go ahead and get those over into our pan. It smells so good in here, you all, man. Especially now that I've added the spices over in here. This is going to be good. And if you are making this dish, I hope that while you're sauteing up your yummy ingredients, you've went ahead and put on a pot of fluffy white rice. Maybe thrown some cornbread into the oven, or even heating up the skillet to make some hot water cornbread. I love hot water cornbread when I am making any kind of beans, red beans and rice, pinto beans, anything like that. I love cornbread with it, and hot water cornbread is the bomb. If you guys want to see a video of that, let me know. Alright, so now we've got our seasonings in. We're going to go ahead and add 3 tablespoons of minced garlic, We're going to get that all incorporated up in there as well. Ooh, this smells so good. All right, that's coming together very nicely. Now here's where it gets fun. To our pot, we're going to add 1 to 1.5 pounds of smoked ham hocks. This is just going to add more smoky flavor to our red beans and rice. I guess the ham hocks could be optional, but you know, why would you do that? Well, I take that back. If you are not a fan of pork, and I know some of my viewers are not fans of pork, you could definitely leave out the swine. That's perfectly fine. Leave the swine out. You could do, you know what you could throw in here? You could throw a smoked turkey wing in here. Basically, what you're wanting is you're wanting all the nice smoky flavor that these smoked ham hocks or that smoked turkey wing have to offer. Now, as I stated, my smoked sausage is beef. My ham is pork, but if you want to do turkey ham instead, definitely do that. I'm telling you, it's still going to taste good. And now we're going to add the star of our dish. I have 2 pounds of small red beans that I have soaked at least 8 hours. Overnight is good, but you want to go at least 8 hours. If you can do overnight, go ahead. And just so you know, this makes a lot of red beans and rice. If you don't need as much as I'm making, you could definitely cut this dish in half. There we go. Let's get that all over into the pot. Woo! My stove got mad, y'all. Calm down. Alright, so that was 2 pounds of small red beans that have been soaking 8 hours to overnight. And like I said, this recipe yields a lot, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't need as much as I'm making, feel free to cut this recipe in half. Not a problem. Looks like I'm going to have to grab a bigger spoon. So that's what I'm going to do. So we've got everything in the pot. And now we need to add our liquid. Now, when it comes to the liquid, it is a little bit subjective. It depends on where, you know, what the weather's like, you know, how the humidity level is, how your stove acts. So I'm going to give you a guideline, and then you guys follow it how you need to. We are using chicken stock today, and you're going to need between 10 and 12 cups of chicken stock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get about 10 cups into this pot. And then as time goes on, you know, you check your liquid level as your beans cook down and thicken. If you need to add more liquid, you can definitely do that, 1/4 cup at a time. So again, I'm going to start off with 10 cups of my chicken broth. Alright, so I've got 10 cups of chicken broth in my pot at this time. Everything's going to get married and taste all delicious and get to know everybody and ask each other, how you doing? Alright, now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to bring this mixture to a boil. We're going to reduce it down to a simmer, and then we're going to cover and let this cook low and slow for 2 hours. 2 hours is the magic time to make this red beans and rice do what it needs to do. Now in that 2 hours time, you're not just gonna walk away and go watch Snapped or the First 48 or whatever it is you watch when you're cooking a low and slow dish like this. You're gonna come back and check on it every now and then. Why? Because you want to check your liquid level. You want to make sure that your ham hocks are nice and submerged. You want to give it a good stir. You want to make sure that your beans are not sticking to the bottom of the pan, because if these beans burn, oh, I'm going to be so mad at y'all if y'all let these beans burn. But you definitely want to check on it, because you know the chicken broth is going to evaporate. You want to give them a stir as the beans start to pop and release their lovely starch. It's going to thicken all this liquid. You want to make sure that they're not too thick. If you need to add liquid, you can go ahead and add liquid at that time. So you'll want to check on it every now and then, maybe about every 20 minutes or so in that 2-hour time frame. But all told, it's going to go 2 hours. So we're going to go ahead and crank the heat up to medium high here. And we're going to let this come to a boil. Alright everybody, 2 hours has passed in YouTube land. You guys want to see what's going on in the pot? I know you do. Check this out. Oh yes. These beans have been going low and slow for a total of 2 hours. As you can see, I have removed the ham hocks. They have given all the love that they could possibly give, and we appreciate them for that. I have also removed the 3 bay leaves. Now I know what somebody out there is thinking. Mia, that don't look like no red beans and rice I've ever had. That look too watery, too soupy. Well, at this point, you gotta release some of the starch within some of these beans. Now there's a couple ways you could do this. You could take your trusty spoon or wooden spoon, spatula that you've been stirring this with, and you can start mashing the beans up against the side to release some of the starch. You can just smush them up against the sides like that. I find that to be a little time consuming. You could also take your trusty potato masher and you could mash down in the beans to break up some. Well, I really ain't got the patience for that either, so I'm gonna tell you what I do. I take about a half a cup of my prepared red beans and rice with some of that cooking liquid, and I drop it into one of the cups of my NutriBullet. And what I'm gonna do is I'm about to obliterate the crap out of this. So if you guys will excuse me, I'm gonna go ahead and handle that, and I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. It look like that. There's our beans and cooking liquid. I'm pretty sure there's some meat in there too. I put that on my NutriBullet for about 10 seconds. And what I got is a nice, starchy, pulpy mass of something. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to incorporate this back into my beans. Those beans have been obliterated, so this is all starch, and this is what you want to get your beans nice and creamy. You see that? Get that mixed in there. So once you have mashed your beans, or like I said, obliterated them like I did, you want to cover this back up and let it go for another 15-20 minutes. And then you want to check it. If the beans are not as thick as you like them to be after that 15-20 minutes, then go ahead and get your potato masher, mash up some more, or I'm gonna scoop up some more of this and obliterate some more. But yeah, let it go for another 10-15 minutes, give those starches a chance to do what they do. And we're gonna take another look at it. Alright everybody, 20 minutes has gone by and this is our finished product. Now, I did check on my beans about 10 minutes in, and they were not as creamy as I personally like my red beans and rice. So I did go ahead and take the tater masher to them a little bit. Nothing wrong with it, it just takes a minute. So what I did was I took my tater masher and I went down in there and smushed as hard as I could, and then give it a good stir to get all that starch and smush beans off the bottom so they don't burn. And I just went around the pan in a couple of circles, smash, stir, and this is what I came up with. And honestly, this is more my speed. This is the way I like my red beans and rice. Alrighty, so we can go ahead and kill the heat, guys, and we are done. Again, I hope earlier you made a pot of nice fluffy white rice to enjoy with this. It is called red beans and rice after all. And if you really feeling, you know, feeling like doing something a little extra, hopefully you threw some biscuits or some cornbread or something in the oven to enjoy alongside this. But hey, to me it tastes good as is. Once you go ahead and scoop it up in the bowl with your rice, go ahead and sprinkle some thinly sliced green onion on it. Grab your spoon and you are good to go. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Thank you so much for coming into my kitchen once again. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell I've been hearing so much about. Alright guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.